all. Do you like my outfit?
Love it.
Thank you. I sewed it myself. These are children's corsets from ballet uniforms, and I put two of them together. If you look, the tits are on the hips. You can see the still. And then this I made from some jeans. Kylie does do it all, but I'm actually trying to retire from sex work. My primary job is hooking. Anybody else in here sell pussy? So nobody's married then? No, but I do it for real. And a lot of people, they look at me and they go, Kylie, you're so fat. I don't understand how you could possibly be a hooker. And there's a couple of things that I want to say about that. Different strokes for different folks. Everybody likes something different. And you know, fat pussy, it's like a warm hug for your dick. Everybody should try it at least once in their lifetime. But the thing about prostitution is you don't get to pick the clients. Whoever calls, whoever's sending me that deposit, that's who I'm going to. So there's a couple of things about that and doing it locally. I have a gentleman that I go and see in Weed, right? I love black people. I'm a huge black dick hunter. It's hard to do locally because they're exotic. But once you get linked in with that tribe of white women that hangs out at the hen house, you're ready to go. They're going to show you what you need to do. But I digress. You don't really get to pick the clients. So I had a gentleman who called me from Weed, right? And so he drops the deposit. I drive up to Weed to see him. And when I get there, he was an older African-American gentleman, right? And I happened to be ovulating. Does anybody else get possessed by ovulation? I will fuck a vacuum handle when I'm ovulating if I have to. And we're not going to tell you how I came to that conclusion. Anyway, so I get to Weed, and this older African-American gentleman is there, right? And the thing about prostitution that you learn, a thing that you pick up, is that when there's crack in the room, you can feel it. Crack cocaine has an energy to it, and when you walk in the room, you catch a little buzz. But when I got there, I didn't want to judge him, because pussy is an expensive product. So it's not my choice how you get the money. I don't know if he's doing the crack or selling the crack. That's not for me to judge. So we start to fucking, right? And I'm ovulating, so I'm into it. It's a lie that prostitutes don't like the sex. There's a psychological response and a physiological response. And sometimes they're just fucking the dog shit out of you, and you can't help it. So this older gentleman is piping me real good, right? And in a fit of passion, he splays his mouth back like this. Ah. And I notice I'm getting fucked real good by a toothless crackhead. But like I said, you can't pick the clients. One of the things about being in pussy sales is you have to know how to take care of them. Women, you know, they're mystical creatures. And one of the things that we do is there's a way that we test whether our panties are clean. And there's two tests that you need to administer. The first test is a density test. Now the other day when I was administering these tests, I bent over to pick my panties up from the ground. And as I lifted them to my face to take a hearty whiff, I hear my 15-year-old son say, "Wow, facing them is wild." Now, I don't know that I intended for him to catch me in this moment, but in that I did, I contemplated, should I be really embarrassed right now? Or have I just taught him a very valuable lesson about women? While we're talking about life lessons associated with sex and private parts and things, I want to talk about sucking dick. I've done it a couple of times. Actually, I have sucked so much dick. I was just thinking this today. When you're fat, men want to use you for dick sucking, but they don't necessarily want to fuck you. So men have used me for so much dick sucking that I'm kind of burnt out it by a little bit. So you really have to pay me for that to be performative. But when I'm doing it, I'm trying to do the best job that I can. So even though there's not a lot of you here right now, I want to talk to the fellas that's in the room. Fellas, we're going to put this in the context that you can understand. We're going to talk about weightlifting. you're in the gym, right? You're getting in your reps. You're getting those sets up. And what we know about that is that you could get more reps with less resistance. Is that right? We're all on the same page? So when I'm down there and I'm sucking your dick, I'm gonna need you to let go of the back of my neck. Because every time I go like this, it's like I'm lifting a 35-pound weight right on my neck. And I'm trying to give you that longevity, baby. The next one is for the ladies. Ladies, it doesn't matter how small it is, you still need to give it a little gag. That's what really gets them going. I got a couple of other clients that I'd like to talk about here in town. Thank God they're not here. So I have a client who's autistic. I recently also discovered that I'm autistic. I self-identify as autistic. I call it transmental. And so I have an autistic client here in town, and he hadn't seen me for a while. So the other night he calls me and I go over for an appointment, right? And when we're done, he starts explaining to me how he sees a tranny when I'm not around. And I never felt so ego-challenged in my life. Like, I didn't know how to handle it because he's autistic, so he didn't really realize it probably wasn't appropriate or made him hurt my feelings, telling me, hey, when you're not around, I'm buying dick. Oh, and I felt a little bit of a type of way about that. But then when he told me that he liked to suck them, I said, well, baby, I just can't do that, and the hurt went away. I have another client here in town who used to work at the Popeyes, and he would have me pick him up from work, right? And one day he says, do you mind picking me up from where I live? And I said, no, of course not. I'd be happy to. He said, okay, meet me at the Mission. Now sometimes when you're selling pussy, you get to put to morally obligating situations. Because really, is he making a good choice by buying me instead of buying an apartment? No. But is it up for me to make those decisions? Also no. So anyways, I go and pick him up at the Mission, and we go back to my house, right? And he says to me, Kylie, I want you to call me Kabongo. I said, I don't do race play. Because I thought that this was the 2024 Mandingo. I thought he was asking me to call him something nasty. So the algorithm is like really strong with Facebook and the internet, right? And a couple of days later, it comes up on my page, Kabongo Scott. And you know what, guys? Sometimes when you're trying not to be racist, you end up being a racist. And that was really that young man's name. So now whenever he calls me from the Mission and asks me to pick him up, I scream, hit that shit, Kabongo, and we're all having a good time. My son goes to U-Prep. Now, I usually don't share that information, but I'm going to tell you right now, after you heard all of my jokes, the U-Prep moms are my biggest fans. Every time they walk up to me at the games and they say, Kylie, we've seen your comedy, I think, oh my God, you know I'm a hooker. But we're getting through. My son, I stay in Reading because of him. Fame is calling. You know, it's all on the edge for me, but I stay here because of him. And it's hard because when you're a single mom, you can't teach them how to be a man, right? I can't teach my son what to do to be a man. But I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So all my life, I've been called the bearded lady. In high school, that was my nickname. It's a real character builder. And my son came to me the other day and he said, Mom, I'm starting to get facial hair and I don't know what to do. And I looked at the heavens and I said, God, you've been preparing me for this moment all of my life. Come on, Jordan, I got you. Well, I want to thank y'all for being here. Thank you for supporting me and letting me be your opener.